Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Sophia4Christ. Welcome to Encouragement Wednesdays. We're back. We're talking still on the money series, and today we are going to talk about how to make wise decisions while you're shopping, because we know how it goes. Somehow, you decided that you're going to buy one thing and then you come out the store with so many other things and you didn't necessarily need them, but somehow. Alright, so we're going to talk about that issue and how to deal with it. However, you'll notice that I mentioned a bit about the business aspect, because remember, in line with the last message that was given forth, that we should go forward, next level, go forward. So next level, go forward, self-employment, entrepreneurship, all of those things. So you'll notice as I continue with this discussion that it's going to sound a lot like I'm talking about business spending, but you can think of it as a meshing or merging of both, okay? Alright, so let's begin. Step number one to ensure that you make wise decisions while you're shopping is to create a list. Yes, create a list. Please, the list cannot exist in your head. I used to do that before. Oh yeah, I have this awesome memory list in my head. And then you go into the store, you go somewhere and you're like, list in my head, forgotten. I don't remember anything about you. And then you end up spending so much on things that you really don't need, and then when you get home you're like, oh gosh, I didn't get what I really went for. So create a list, and that applies to if you're doing personal spending or business spending. Create a list. That's the first one. The second tip is to ensure that you set a maximum limit on how much you're going to spend on each item. Now, if you're thinking about it in terms of grocery shopping, of course you can set a maximum limit on what you're going to spend on sugar or rice or something like that. You're probably in such scenarios, it's best to set an overall limit as to what you will spend for your groceries. But from the business perspective, say for example you're going to purchase a printer for your business, you should have an idea of what the overall value is for such printers, of the size and capacity and features that you need. But if you're not sure, based on your budget, set a cap, set a maximum amount that you are willing to spend. And you remember that list from step one? Write down the maximum amount that you're willing to spend from step one beside that item or beside each item. And especially for business items, although you can write off pretty much, well, if it's strictly for business, you can write off the entire purchase against your taxes at the end of the year. But if it's going to be used for business and personal use, then you can only write off a certain percentage. So either way, you still want to minimize costs as much as possible. So set a maximum cap on how much you're going to spend on each item. Now, number 3, you need to prioritize how you're going to do these purchases, because in everyone's world, you have a myriad of things that you want all at once. But guess what? It's not possible to get everything at once. And that is whether it's personal spending or business spending. You're going to have to prioritize your purchases. Because remember, in this 2021, we are not repeating the mistakes and the bad habits from last year or previous years. We're starting out strong, renewed, and energized, and doing the right thing and going about it the right way and winning, and especially winning with our finances. So you need to prioritize how you're going to make those purchases. Our wants are unlimited, however our finances or the resources that we have at our disposal, they're limited. And there lies the principle of scarcity, going back to my economics background. The whole concept of scarcity, on which all of economics lies, is just the fact that You have unlimited ones, but limited resources, including cash. So that means that you have to make wise decisions or the most optimal choices about what you're going to do with your limited resources to fulfill those wants, which of course you won't be able to fulfill all of them. So prioritize your purchases, okay? Now, if you have a home-based business, which you should, even if you're working 9 to 5, people, please have a home-based business. Please have a home-based business, because even if you're working 9 to 5, what it does, whatever tax or whatever you pay in your 9 to 5, it's also accounted for when you're doing your overall return for the year. And it pans out. So please, even if you're working a 9 to 5, you love your 9 to 5, you're not going to leave your 9 to 5 ever. Okay, just have a home-based business. It's a pretty nifty way to avoid paying too much taxes. And no, that is not illegal. Tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is perfectly legal, and in fact should be the goal of every good citizen or at least every good entrepreneur or every good person, every good self-employed person. Okay, so in light of that, if you have a home-based business, make sure that you prioritize your business spending over your personal spending. And especially if you're starting out, come on, we can't expect to just be like flossing, or that's a Jamaican term, slang, or you're just spending lavishly like that. Whenever you're building something, you're going to have to make sacrifices. And in this case, putting your business spending ahead of your personal spending actually works out good for you, not just from the tax aspect, but also from the aspect that you're doing as much as you can, putting in as much as you can into your business to ensure that it is successful. If you have a home-based business, always prioritize your business spending over your personal spending. Now, the 5th point is do your research. Research. You need to know exactly what you're purchasing, what's the price range, and all of these things. Remember I said set the cap? Yeah, based on your resources, you know where you can spend, right, on a given item or for a given category. But you need to do your research to ensure that you are getting the best quality product for the lowest possible price, or I should say for the most affordable price. It's not that you're going to be so cheap and you're focused so much on all the prices low and then you have poor quality products. Worse, if you're going to then sell those products to your clients or your consumers, you need to be very careful about that, about the quality that you're getting. And even if it's going to be for your use in your business, you want to ensure that you're getting good quality products, that you don't have to run in and replace them ever so often, which would be not minimizing your costs. So make sure that you do your research, search around, shop around. Don't just try to purchase at the very first place because you feel tired or you're not someone who likes shopping or whatever. Just shop around, do your research. And in the age of the internet, do your research is quite easy or fairly easy, because pretty much any company or any business worth their salt is on the internet. They have an online presence. Even if they don't have a website, they're at least on Instagram or they're on Facebook or somehow, but they have a presence. And good businesses tend to also list the price of their products or give you the avenue to contact them. So make sure that you do your research. You want to be well informed for every purchase that you're making. And of course, the more expensive the purchase, the more dollars that you will be shelling out like that, you want to make sure that your research is really good and thorough. Okay? So in addition to doing your research on the product itself and the different places that you can get it, you also want to include research about the seller, because the reason why they may have a low price, it may be that they have a shoddy reputation or the products aren't good. So not only should you research the item that you're purchasing and the features and the prices at different locations and so forth, you also want to make sure that you're only making purchases from reputable entities or reputable businesses. Imagine if you have to do a return or something, anything at all, and then you purchase from the wrong type of entity and you can't do any returns. For some piece of equipment you can't get, there's no warranty, so you can't get any help with servicing and so forth. So make sure that you're also paying attention to the sellers that you're considering to purchase from. And if something looks very cheap, well, probably there's a reason that why it's cheap, it's too good to be true. That's because it is. So proceed with caution. And sometimes you may have to pay a little bit more to get the quality that you need, and the item will of course last and serve you well for that period of time. And finally, once you have made your purchase, whether personal or business, remember you should have a budget for every month. Yes, my royals, you need to have a budget for every month, that you are tracking your expenditure, but also for your business, you need to maintain your profit and loss statement, basically indicating what comes in and what you spend. And you need to ensure that you're doing a good job of bookkeeping or recording those transactions. You know, we may feel very good to record when money comes in, but it's equally important to record when money goes out, because that also impacts what's left behind in terms of profits for reinvestment in the business, and also to service obligations such as prominently your taxes. So make sure that once you've made your purchase, to just note it in your bookkeeping, or rather your bookkeeping should be in a method that you can understand best. And another thing, for your tax purposes at the end of the year, you don't want to be in a situation where you can't find receipts when you get to the end of the tax season. You don't remember what you spent to acquire different things, and you're guessing that is not going to make the person who's preparing your taxes happy. If you're doing it yourself, be careful, because you never know who or when, or that whole audit thing. So make sure that everything is in alignment. Not only are you recording the purchases for your business, but you're also scanning the receipts and having an electronic copy, because over time receipts get faded at the end of the year. The person who's preparing your taxes or the accountant or whoever it is won't be able to see those numbers. So make sure, and also just for good bookkeeping, make sure that you're scanning your receipts. So get in the habit of keeping those receipts. Don't crush them up and throw them in the different location in the garbage like you normally would. You have to have a different orientation when you are self-employed or you're an entrepreneur, right? You need to make sure that you're keeping track of your spending. And that's it. All 7 tips to ensure that you are shopping wisely. I thank you so much for listening to this week's Encouragement Wednesdays. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Sophia4Christ. Please be sure to, channel, meaning YouTube, subscribe. Have you subscribed? Subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook, please be sure to like and follow this Facebook page. If you are checking this out on Instagram, please be sure to follow this Instagram profile, Sophia4Christ. You won't regret it. Stay tuned. So, until we meet again, may His blessings, peace, and wisdom be upon you all. Bye-bye.